I know, Grandma.
Right. So she went to the store one day and left me with my uncle, and his name was Uncle Red. And he wasn't even a real uncle. He was just somebody that always came around. And I was outside playing, and he called me in the house. He was in the dining room, and he called me in the house, and I didn't like being around him because he was always drunk, inebriated. He was always drunk, and I didn't like the smell. So he told me to come in, and I came in, and he made me stand in front of him, and he was just looking at me, and drool was coming down his mouth and everything because and so he told me to pull my pants down and stand in front of me, and then he started to fondle me and pulled out his private. So that was the day that I lost my innocence. So that was the day that I completely shut down as a little girl, because I was a vibrant little girl. I loved singing, I loved dancing, I loved entertaining. I was just very vibrant, but everything changed that day. And that was the beginning of me becoming a chameleon, me, doing my best to make myself invisible, shrinking myself down because I didn't want to be seen. I didn't want to be heard. I didn't want, because everything that a family was supposed to represent, um, I did not have. Family's supposed to represent safety, security, protection, provision. All of that was stripped from me that day, because I didn't immediately tell my grandmother. And then, um, still at 6, I went to stay with my mom's sister overnight, and she was married. And that uncle attempted to violate me that night, the night that I stayed over, but he wasn't successful because my frame was so little, but he tried. And so I just remember just going into a deeper shell. Like I started in my young little head, like, what did I do? So I carried the shame and the guilt and the embarrassment and the fear, because that uncle threatened that if I told anything, he would kill my aunt and he would harm my grandmother. And so I carried this until I was about 7 or 8. And then I finally had the courage to tell my grandmother.